Hello! Been a long time since I've uploaded a video. Last time I uploaded, I guess, was kind of at the start of the whole pandemic thing going on, so haven't been doing a whole lot. I had originally had plans to do some videos with the Fiat here when I picked it up. I made a video about getting that car, but unfortunately I found out not too long after I got it that it had some pretty significant battery degradation issues. So I kind of lost motivation to really spend any real money on it, to do any modifications or anything, so I just used it as a daily driver for the past several months, and that's kind of about it. Anyhow, battery degradation is somewhere between 25 and 30% based on the observations that I've made. I kind of put together a spreadsheet and started recording all the... I would do a full charge on the car and reset the trip odometer, basically drive it as far as I could throughout the whole week, and then record the mileage and the amount of energy used. And then I would also pay attention to how much energy the EVSE was delivering, and all the numbers kind of lined up for it to be a little over 25% degraded. So although that's super rare on those cars, since they have an active cooled battery, it seems to be the case, so a bit unfortunate. But what we're here to really talk about today is my new acquisition. So I just picked this car up last week, been driving it around. This is probably, short of maybe a salvage car, the cheapest Model S that I've ever seen for sale anywhere at any point in time, really. And the reason for that is that it has over 400,000 miles on it. That puts it pretty squarely in the top 10, I think. I know that there's actually quite a few of them here in San Diego County that are very high mileage, as they're owned by the company Tesloop. This is not a Tesloop car. This is actually something totally different. Well, not totally different. The guy who owned it before did Uber with it, so he bought the car new and drove for Uber. Considering the mileage, I'd say the car's held up pretty well. Driver's seat is a bit worn, but no tears or anything. Steering wheel is kind of the same way. Kind of the surface of the leather is all coming apart. But I actually have a new seat cushion for that front seat that came off of a wrecked car. So the seat out of the car had a blown airbag, but I pulled the bottom cushion off, and I'm actually going to be doing that today. I'll swap out that bottom cushion. But a little bit more about the car. So it's a 2015 Model S 70D. So 70 kilowatt hour battery, dual motor all-wheel drive. It's kind of doesn't have any options. It does have the next gen interior, which is really nice. The next gen seats, much more comfortable than the older style seats in the Model S. Full leather. I believe they're made by Recaro. Still has the original mobile connector. Which is pretty beat up looking. As you can imagine how many times this car's been plugged in. But yeah, that still works. And of course, this year Model S had the 8-year unlimited mileage warranty on the battery and the drivetrain. The 2 drive units, anyways. So those are still covered under the factory warranty. The battery pack has been replaced once. According to the previous owner, it was replaced about 150,000 miles ago. I did do a full charge on it last week, and I got a full range number to 100% of 208 miles. So that puts it in the ballpark of around 14% or so degradation over 150,000 miles, I guess, on the current battery. Which, considering how much the car was driven, it would have had to have been supercharged at least once a day for the driving this guy was doing. I figure if he was driving for Uber 5 days a week, he was driving well over 300 miles a day. So it would have had to have been supercharged at least once a day, probably 5 days a week for the last 2 years. So I'd say, considering that, the battery's probably holding up pretty well. And that kind of range is probably plenty enough for me. I'm potentially maybe considering doing a battery upgrade to make the car a 90D. But we'll see if that happens. I'm not 100% sure if I want to spend the money to do that or not. Although it would be really neat. Give the car significantly more range, a lot faster supercharging, and nearly 100 extra horsepower, which is a pretty significant bump. Other stuff on the car. Of course, it had the white HOV stickers, which are now expired. I peeled this one off, but I need to get all the adhesive off. Maybe I'll make a little video on that. Those are super difficult to get the adhesive off of. Wheels are a little beat up, as you can imagine. You figure with 400,000 miles, this car's probably had 8 or 10 sets of tires, plus rotations and all, so you can only imagine how many times the wheels have been on and off. So maybe I'll take those off and try and sand them all down and repaint them. Yeah, and I'll do the seat cushion replacement. I'd like to replace the steering wheel if I can find one. Shouldn't be too difficult to find, but yeah, that's about it. Oh, and another thing, I'll probably pull it into the shop here at some point on our lift where I work and drain the oil out of the gearboxes on the 2 motors and change it. Don't know if or when it has ever been changed, and probably wouldn't be such a bad idea to change it out. So take about, I think the front motor takes about 2.5 quarts and the rear motor takes 1 quart, or 1.5 quarts, sorry, of Dextron 6 automatic transmission fluid. So maybe I'll do a video on that too. But anyhow, I'm super excited about this car. Ready to put some more miles on it and just enjoy it. Before I end the video, I thought I'd share my progress with swapping out the seat cushion. Sorry about the noise, there's a refrigerator unit running over there. But as you can see, I got the new seat bottom cushion swapped on. There's the old one. A little bit of wear and tear there. But it was pretty simple. The only thing that holds it on is these little side clips on the leather part. And then there's two connectors underneath. So there's the seat heater, which is this little green plug that plugs in under the seat here into that black module. It says driver TCU. So there's three connectors in that. You can see the two gray ones here. I can't get my fingers in there. But the seat heater connection for the bottom cushion is behind the smaller connector that you can see on the right there. And then there's the, I assume this is a seat occupancy sensor that's kind of glued onto the bottom of the cushion. But that one is just kind of hanging down there in the middle. Probably can't see it. Oh, there you go. It's right there, kind of in the middle of the frame. Back there. That's the connector for that. You kind of have to peel the side panels out a bit, and then just pop all the little plastic clips off here, and then the whole thing just slides out, and then it's vice versa to reinstall it. Anyhow, that was a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be, so there's one thing down, a few more things to go. Thanks for watching.